Hi, I'm Mike Deming, host of Sportsman's News Television. On this episode, we're in Colorado with my good friend Wes Atkinson with Atkinson Expeditions. Him and I put together a hunt giveaway, and Gary Stambaugh out of Yukon, Oklahoma was our lucky winner. We're a few days before the second season of deer over here. He's bringing his son-in-law, so we're up here scouting, seeing what we can find. Stick around, this should be a great episode. Once Gary showed up and we got him all dialed in, checked into his room, went out and shot the guns at 400 yards just to make sure they were comfortable with what their guns did at that distance, and then topped it all off with getting his license and tag to make him Colorado legal, so we were ready for opening morning.
You know what a good buck in this area is.
Well, I mean, we could kill the biggest buck in the state, or we could get our butt kicked too.
I understand that. That's hunting.
Absolutely. I want to see
a nice 4x4, heavy, wide. Or something with some kickers, or but that's these are wild deer. You just not behind the fence.
No, we won't shoot anything that's not a mature deer. It's just, sometimes people are it's got to be a 190 or I ain't pulling the trigger.
I know 190s. Yeah, that'd be great. 190, 200,
Well, we see one of them, we're not going to pass it. That's for sure.
I've never seen one that big live. Okay.
Okay.
I watched the television of the guy shot the other night, shot a 180, and god dang, I thought that was plenty.
A 180 deer is a giant. Boone and Crockett is 180 to make awards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason that's the threshold for a standard. And that's a big.
I'd say a nice big buck with character.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Opening morning of second season greeted us with a full moon, and the cold 13,000-foot peaks covered with snow made for a long, long morning before the sun finally broke. Anticipation was high, but once it finally got there, we started spotting bucks right away. But it took till late in the evening before we finally turned up this big buck at almost 2 miles away. We knew this was a deer we wanted to get closer to on the next morning. It didn't take us long that second morning to move into position. We'd waited till daylight so we could see. We were about 500 yards above where we'd last seen that buck, and it didn't take long for Mike to turn this buck up. He'd already bedded in the dark and was just out of sight of several other hunters in the basin.
Well, we found our buck we want to shoot. He's a 5x7. Got a lot of cheaters on the right side. Mike found him at 1,100 yards with the spot and scope. They're amazing what they can see. And we're waiting for him to bed so we can make our stock. And I hope this old man can finish the job when we do it.
If not, I'm there for backup.
Yeah, there we go. So that's what we're waiting on now.
We spotted a really good buck up here last night, about 2 miles away. So we came in here, got in on that buck. I'm here with Gary Stambaugh from Yukon, Oklahoma. He's one of our lucky hunt winners. And right now, if we can put a tag on this buck, he's going to be a really lucky hunt winner. Stick along, it's going to be fun. We waited till nearly 11 o'clock when all the other hunters had left the basin, went back to camp, and got set up for our shot. We left our cameraman there to go ahead and watch, and it took nearly an hour for me and Gary to get around and get set up for a shot.
It's a big deer right on the other side of the road, right here. A big one. Because I'm up here out of my environment.
As I peeked up over the hill here, it was comforting to know that in that last hour, the wind hadn't swirled or anything. Those bucks were still in the same spot, and now we were inside of 200 yards of them.
How'd I shoot over him? I'm sorry.
Dude, it's okay.
I was on him.
Might have knocked that scope off this morning when you fell.
How much was I over him?
Probably 1.5 feet high. But it was right over his back. I mean, it was money. We hunted hard for the next 2 days, but when that big buck ran off of that hill, it took the last of Gary's hopes of killing a big mature deer with kickers with him. Unfortunately, Gary's daughter had an auto accident back in Oklahoma, and he was forced to leave the hunt early. Well, our hunt winner, Gary Stambaugh, had an unfortunate incident back home, and things changed, so our hopes and prayers are with Gary. But Wes had another landowner voucher here, so this has turned into a hunt for me. So we still know that there's a big 190+ inch buck that Gary missed, and he's now on our #1 hit list. Stick around, we still got 5 days to go. We got to get our tag. This is as exciting as it gets. I mean, when you hunt strictly big bucks, I mean, you pass a lot of deer, and then when you see them, it's go time. So you got to do what it takes. That's the benefits of hunting those units year after year. You figure out where they're at, where they like to hang. You just need a break or two. We've already missed the trash man, one of our hunt winners. We missed him at 193 yards, but we're hoping this is him, and if not, he is a really big buck, and I would be real happy putting my tag on. We're gonna get down there, get a little closer. If he's where I think he's gonna be, he should come out. We should have a 500-yard shot across canyon, and definitely well within my capabilities. Hopefully this guy doesn't have 9 lives. I hope he doesn't even have 2. We're gonna put the smack down on him.
We made it down the hill. We
slow. See if we can get our eyeballs on him. 2-shooter bucks. That for us, that's over 170. Heavy horn, big mature deer. I hope they're still here. We still got 25 minutes of light. Hopefully it'll happen. On this buck. We probably can't film him right now even if he comes out. But we'll be back here in the morning. Let's see if we can make it happen here. Good thing about this area, nobody can see this from anywhere except way up on the mountain where we spotted him from about 1.5 miles. Not too many people we see around here have spotting scopes. The best thing to do, get you a good spotting scope. Pays dividends out here. Well, it's the next morning. We saw those bucks last night, made that play on them, but it just didn't work out. So we're back here. It's about 6:40. By the time we get to the top of the hill, should be just getting light, and maybe it'll play out for us. We're prepared to sit here all day and wait if we have to. So hopefully it'll work out. Was the last day, that buck would be toast. He's a big 5-year-old deer. He's only a 3-point, no eye guards. Not what we're looking for. But what I always do when I travel to these trophy units, if I can't find a buck that I want to shoot, I try to do my very best to manage the herd, get bucks like that out of the herd, because he's gonna breed for sure. That's a big deer. We're gonna stay here and look for our other buck. He's in the same drainage. I saw that one right here close this morning. We found the trash man. We found that buck on the very first day of the hunt. Got a shot at him, and usually big bucks like that you just never ever find again, at least during that season. So I'd written him off. We saw another good buck over here. So we're in the same place, but that big buck, we shot at him way across in that basin over there. He's moved across over here. Mike found him this morning, skylined. Well, he found a little 2-point that skylined itself, and then Mike picked it apart and found that other buck with him. He's still with that little 4-point. There's 4 bucks there. We're just waiting to see what happens and where they're gonna lay down, and see if they lay down somewhere where we can get an opportunity to get inside of 500-600 yards. Alright, well, we bedded that buck. They went into a north face with a lot of trees. We can see one of the smaller bucks through the trees. So we're gonna go back to town, regroup, get us some breakfast, come back up here about 3, hopefully make the right play with that, and he'll come back out where we can get a shot at him this afternoon. Let's go. We'd bedded that buck, left him there. We're hoping he comes back out. We had to make a choice, either go over to where we could see him before, but that doesn't leave us enough time during the daylight to make a shot. So we're going to where we hope he comes out, which is basically where he came from this morning. So if he comes back around there, we'll see what it looks like. Should give us a couple 100-yard shot, maybe 3 or 4. We just gotta have a little bit of luck, make it happen. It's now giving us an east wind, which is totally bad for us to go stalk that buck and hope he comes around. So right now,
we sit here and wait, it might happen tonight, might not. That big, heavy 5-6-year-old 3-point is back out again. And he definitely wants us to manage him out of the herd. He keeps sticking his nose into our business. Right now he's safe, but maybe not for long. We're at 802 yards from that big 3-point once again. He just really wants to go down. This would be a great shot. We still got a little bit of daylight left. Just wait and see what happens. Man, I'm dry fired on him right now. He's so done. He just doesn't know he's dead. Well, we're running out of light. We got about 3 or 4 minutes left of shooting light. Big buck trash man never came out. We don't know where he went. He may be just laying in his bed doing what big bucks do. We still got 3 days left to hunt. We've got a great backup buck, the big 3-point. And Mike found another really big frame buck across the canyon over here where we missed the trash man the first day. Good to have days in front of you. Let's go back to town and get some to eat. Alright, we're on the ridge where we've seen trash the last couple of days. We're right at shooting light right now. We just gotta hope he's there and he stands up, gives us a shot. We should be 350, 400 yards. Should be a good opportunity. Let's get up there. We've got great time. We got about another 100 yards to go.
We moved into where the last place we had seen trash man. We got in there nice and early, still in the dark. We knew we were taking a risk with the thermal still unstable and going up and going down. And it took a while. We finally got daylight enough, and lo and behold, I look up and I see trash man. He'd been bedded there, stood up behind this tree, and unfortunately, I knew the winds had swirled, and he had us pegged. And after he'd been shot at a couple of days before, he just wasn't going to tolerate that. Typical big buck fashion, he just turned and ran away from us and ran dead away, never presenting a shot. And we knew it was time to move on. We'd gotten this guy's wheelhouse a little too frequently. We decided to go check out another part of the unit. We'd looked at it briefly a couple days before, and it had been productive years in the past, but we had not spent any major time here, and it didn't take long. We were turning up really good bucks, and with about an hour of daylight left, I turned up this absolute massive giant. He's a big typical 4. He's got great mass, carries it all the way to his tips, and I knew that this was a buck I definitely wanted to put my tag on.
That is one tough deer. Holy crap. He's down. Go down.
We went to a totally new area. We haven't been to this before. We looked at it a few days ago from just a long ways away. Decided to come in here. First buck I see is like a 190 typical. This is a huge typical frame deer, just an unbelievable mass. We saw him from about 1.5 miles away, so we had an hour and 15 minutes of daylight. Let's make a go for it. We did, and lo and behold, I think he's down. I think he made a really good shot on him. I'm stoked. Whew. We jumped another really big buck on the way over here that was a 4x3 almost shot, but we figured this guy's bigger. Let's go check him out. This is a big deer. Big Colorado buck. This is where he landed. We've been scouring the hillside looking for him. He'd actually got up. I don't know where that first shot went, but anyway, we got up to the top of the hill and he took off. I'd hit him again. We jammed another one in. I think I shot a little high the second shot and then hit him again. So Mike saw him dump over, and this is where he finally is finding resting place. He's got matching kickers. We're gonna drag him out of here so we can get a better look at him, get a few photos. We are about 1.5 miles from truck, so we're gonna clean him out, tag him, leave him here for tonight, come back and pack him out tomorrow. What a great hunt, 8 days in Colorado. Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of Sportsman's News Television. We had a great time out here with Gary and his son-in-law, and wow, he had a great shot at a really good buck. Had a family emergency and had to go home, but maybe next time he can book another hunt with Wes Atkinson and Atkinson Expeditions and get him a big buck like this Colorado giant we killed the other day. You know what? Thanks for joining us on this episode. Tune in next month. We'll have another great show for you.
Sportsman's News Television is sponsored by Barnes Bullets, unleaded, unfailing, and unbeatable. Vortex Optics, the force of optics. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. And Sitka, turning clothing into gear.